Deep in Scotland's landscape lies a hidden secret, a geometric puzzle tying the murder of Thomas Becket to the loss of the genuine secrets of a master mason. Today, we discover how Becket is a proxy for Hiram Abiff in the third degree of Freemasonry, and what that implies for our journey through history, sacred geometry, and Templar and Tironensian mysteries. But first we need to review what we know about Celtic Christian law and the Tironensian Order up to the year 1170. We suggest there was an ancient sacred line of Herodom from the summit of Mount Hermon to the island of Iona, hinting that Jesus spent time with Mary Magdalene in Scotland. From our King Arthur video, we also identified Bardsey Island as the island of Avalon. Many years later, the Tironensian Order, sympathetic to Celtic Christianity, started building their abbey of Selkirk on the Line in Scotland, as well as Dogmail Abbey and Caldey Priory in Wales. The Welsh abbeys aligned perfectly north-south towards a point in Scotland, whilst the Templars would be granted Lundy Island in later years, which also aligned. This north-south line meets the line of Herodom at exactly halfway between Selkirk and Iona. It was here that Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, would establish his Cardross estate at the centre of the Celtic cross. The vertical axis of the cross runs from Ireland's Hill of Tara to Schiehallion in Scotland. As Celtic Christianity merged with more Gaelic pagan traditions, monks left Iona to establish cells or kills across Scotland, such as Kilbirnie, Kilmarnock, Kilwinning, etc. In 1128, as the first Templar Grand Master visited David the Saint, King of Scotland, he was granted the lands of Ballintradoch, or Temple. At the same time, the Tironensian monks were told to stop building Selkirk and move it to Kelso. Amazingly, there is an incredible line from Garima Monastery in Ethiopia, where the Book of Enoch was discovered, to the peak of the treasure in Scotland, which runs exactly through Kelso Abbey, while a line from Kelso through Ballintradoch goes through the site of the Battle of Bannockburn and the Gillies Iron Age hill fort. The surrounding area of the Falkirk Triangle is the most heavily visited site for UFO observations in the world. Returning to the Tironensians, they would go on to build Lesmahago and Kilwinning in an exact straight east-west line. Here we see where the north-south line crosses the east-west line at Bensley Wood, referred to as Herland in a charter granted by Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, to the Tironensian Order around 1315, where they would build the strange structure as seen on Roy's military map, the first relatively accurate map of Scotland from the 1700s. You can also see how the gardens of Eglinton Estate were laid out in similar geometric fashion. In Freemasonry's third degree, Hiram Abiff, a widow's son, an architect of Solomon's Temple, is murdered by 3 ruffians. Struck 3 times on the head, the final blow proving fatal, his death led to the loss of the genuine secrets of a master mason. Freemasons, as sons of the widow, reflect on their own death and seek spiritual light through the third degree. But what if the Hiram allegory was based on reality? Enter Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury, who in 1170 was murdered by 3 knights, led by a 4th, Hugh de Morville, in his own temple of Canterbury Cathedral. 3 blows to the head, the final one fatal, echo Hiram's death. Becket was also a widow's son, his father having died before his exile to France. Hugh de Morville was brother to Richard de Morville, who founded Kilwinning Abbey 3 years after his murder. Their second cousin was Ralph de Soudeley, a Templar benefactor, who supposedly sailed to America with them. Through his marriage, de Morville was a cousin to King William, the Lion, King of Scotland, and thus likely to have known of the secrets passed down from David, the Saint. In the tale of Perlevar, the High Book of the Grail, the hero Percival, son of the widow lady, seeks the Holy Grail, a symbol of divine secrets. Was Becket a proxy for both Hiram and Perceval, carrying esoteric knowledge lost with his death. Henri de Blois, a powerful cleric with Templar ties, was the author of Per les Vaux, having also based the King Arthur legend on the Knights Templar for the benefit of his brother, King Stephen of England. Stephen's wife Matilda granted the estates of Cressing, Temple Barnes in England to the Templars. Henri's nephew, Guillaume de Blois, Archbishop of Sens, hosted Thomas Becket during his 1164 to 1170 exile in France. The de Blois family, closely linked to the Knights Templar through land donations and crusader networks, shaped Arthurian law. Guillaume's niece, Marie de France, patronized Chrétien de Troyes, who authored his Grail romance of Parzival, based on Henri's Per les Vaux. In 1168, Becket met both William the Lion, King of Scotland, and Louis VII of France in Sens, which laid the initial foundations for the old alliance between Scotland and France. It was critical in preserving relations after 1745 between exiled Jacobites in France and America, who went on to found the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. In Freemasonry's third degree, the ritual speaks of traveling from east to west to find the genuine secrets of a master mason at the center of a circle. Whilst it is allegorical to finding one's own center, it is also clear that the ritual is a remnant of the oral tradition of the Tironensian master builders from the 12th century. These humble monks, in their leather aprons, spoke of their builders' working tools in their Latin rule as an allegory for the conduct of life. Returning to the third degree, we know now that we are seeking the lost third point and must travel from Kelso in the east to Kilwinning in the west to find it. The first interesting point is the intersection of the line of Herodom at the 1/3 marker, or halfway between Kelso and Lesmahago. The next interesting marker is Temple Hill, where the Templars maintained a woodland for timber. Then, of course, we have Lesmahago at the 2/3 mark. If we run a perpendicular from Lesmahago Abbey to Weem Church in the north, we see a gravestone from the 14th century depicting the ritual of the third degree. It's clear that here we have Hiram Abiff in the grave with the 3 ruffians who murdered him, the 5 fellow crafts who found the grave, and the 2 remaining Grand Masters. We even see the sprig of acacia that was used to mark the grave. The Menzies clan from the area were prominent supporters of Robert the Bruce and the Black Douglas at Bannockburn, their clan badge also depicting the bearded head of John the Baptist, as does the Montgomery's clan at Kilwinning. It's really quite concerning that historians keep assuming this is the head of a savage. Returning to the line, Rowan Castle was the home of the Muir family, with Elizabeth Muir marrying Robert II, grandson of Robert the Bruce, and first of the Stuart kings of Scotland. Finally, we have the Tironensians Halland and Kilwinning themselves. Geometrically speaking, to find the center of a circle, you need 3 unique points on the circumference, or bisect 2 points with a radius. If we assume that there were 3 Grand Masters who each knew their own point, then if one was suddenly killed, the other 2 could not retrieve the center. Let's also now add in the remaining Tironensian abbeys of Arbroath, founded by William the Lion King, in memory of Thomas Becket, and Lindores Abbey, founded by David, William's brother, and Robert the Bruce's second great-grandfather, from where he claimed his royal descent. It was David that helped to introduce lodges of master masons in Dunkeld on his return from the Crusades. Now we can see that geometrically we have the level, a plumb rule, and a builder's square. Let's also add in the Scottish Templar sites, as well as the famous Rosslyn Chapel, which only came later in 1450. But we can run lines for them from Kelso anyway. Let's also add some geometric construction lines. Firstly, as the 2 known points on our circle, we need the Kelso to Arbroath chord, and the perpendicular bisector. Interestingly, this intersects exactly at Robert the Bruce's Cardross estate. Let's also run an extension line from Lindores and note that this intersects the Kelso to Ballintrodoch line near Bannockburn, or the Gillies Iron Age fort to be precise. Then, Let's run the bisector between the Kelso and Lindores chord. This goes straight through Rosslyn Chapel, which is interesting, again. Finally, if we run the Ross line from Lindores through Temple Hall, it runs straight along the unfinished wall of Rosslyn Chapel. Perhaps there was a reason that this wall remained unfinished after all, serving simply as a geometric alignment. Unfortunately, the alignment isn't exact to the 1/3 marker on the east-west line, but Rosslyn was constructed long after Robert the Bruce, when the secrets had most likely been recovered. To find our circle, we need to construct the Vesica Piscis, the original sign of Christ. To do this, we construct the Kelso to Kilwinning circle and the Kilwinning to Kelso circle. We then drop the center line, which of course is the halfway mark between Kelso and Kilwinning. Constructing the equilateral triangle gives us the northern point of Leywood, where the first Earl of Athol and the daughter of William St. Clair, builder of Rosslyn Chapel, lived. Here we see their ancestral lines, with Athol being descended from the Appin Stuarts, who settled around Weem with the Menzies clan. Athol was the son of the Black Knight of Lorne, a union of the MacDougall and Appin Stuart clans. The MacDougall clan crest shows the Templars crosslet Fichy, which the Templars planted in the ground to say prayer, as they did at Bannockburn. Before the battle, Edward too exclaimed, "Look, they kneel for mercy," to which his aide replied, "For mercy, yes, but from God, not you, for these men will conquer or die," which of course is the Gaelic phrase that we see on the MacDougall's clan crest. William St. Clair's maternal great-grandfather was James the Black Douglas, who led the ex-Templar Black Knights at Bannockburn, while his eldest daughter, Marjorie St. Clair, married David Boswell. Her great-grandson, John Boswell, 3rd of Auchinleck, is the first known speculative Freemason, his signature and mark appearing in the minutes of the Lodge of Edinburgh in June 1600. Solving for the centre of the circle reveals a mud bank in the Firth of Forth, known as Tancred Bank. Tancred was the first crusader to enter Jerusalem and place his flag on the top of the Temple of Solomon. If anyone was discovering Christian relics in the Holy Land, it was him. Here you can see Tancred and his wife's relationship to the Templars and the de Blois family that carried the Grail tradition, as well as Cecile of France's relationship to Surrey, with the English county getting its colours from the house of Vermandois. William de Warenne, 3rd Earl of Surrey, founded the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Thetford, England, where his great-aunt Cecile de France lies buried. William's sister Gundred de Warenne was the mother-in-law to Richard de Morville, founder of Kilwinning Abbey, while his other sister married Prince Henry of Scotland, who lies buried in Kelso Abbey, which his father moved from Selkirk in 1128. Henry's son William the Lion founded Arbroath Abbey in memory of his friend Thomas Becket, while Prince David, 8th Earl Huntingdon, founded Lindores Abbey. Perhaps now we can understand the importance of these later abbeys in trying to recover the lost secret at the centre of the circle. But what if Tancred Bank was not the right centre location? After all, why did the monks construct that strange feature at Bensley Wood? It turns out that the centre of the circle that passes through that feature at Halland is still in the Firth of Forth, a little closer to where the later Bruce family would build their estate at Broom Hall. But what if Rosslyn Chapel itself were the centre of a new circle? That enigmatic building, with an exterior carving depicting Freemasonry's first degree of initiation, gives us a third point intersection at exactly the site of the Battle of Bannockburn. Remember that the UFOs also all seem interested in this area. Let us also not forget that we have the Triple Tau from Royal Arch Freemasonry, as well as the Philosopher's Stone, each throwing up intriguing new possibilities, which we will have to leave for another day. Meanwhile, I hope this has been an insightful exploration into the obvious geometrical intentions of the Tironensian Order, forerunners of Freemasonry. Our next video on Robert the Bruce will reveal more of the puzzle. Until then, make sure to subscribe to stay updated for when that drops.